Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this new edition of Sartorial Talks. Today, I have the pleasure, if not to say the honor, to have at my table the third generation of the De Luca family, a very famous tailoring family in Paris, France. And I have Charles de Luca on my left and Julien de Luca on my right. So, if you are following the channel, maybe the name De Luca just rings a bell, you know? Yes, of course. Please, if you didn't watch the first episode we did with the father of these two gentlemen, you have to take a look at it. We are telling the story of the beautiful Camps de Luca company, which is, in my opinion, among the top, let's say, 5 best tailors in the world. So, 2014 is the date when you decided, I suppose, with the agreement of dad, of your father, because in this kind of family, you have to ask the elders if it's okay to do this or not. You decided to create something different or something, let's say, more complementary to what Camps de Luca is offering, that is to say, strict bespoke tailoring. Tell us this story. It started in 2014.
Yes, so at the time we bought Stark & Sons.
Yes.
And because we had to move from our historical place, 11 Place de la Madeleine.
Yes, beautiful place. If you look at my first book, ladies and gentlemen, there's a wonderful picture. We're going to put it on the screen of your father in this place that we all loved a lot. It was a fantastic place, right? Right in front of the Église de la Madeleine in Paris. But you moved to a place which is quite well known, specifically for the people who are playing Monopoly in French, but more because it's one of the most luxurious streets. It is Rue de la Paix.
Tout à fait.
And this is why you bought Stark & Son. Tell us a little bit of who was Mr. Stark.
Mr. Stark was a third-generation tailor.
Yes.
And he used to make Académie Française uniforms, and for the préfecture, l'art préfectoral, and for the they had a small offer of made to measure and ready to wear.
Academician, Académie Française, for maybe you listen to us, you're watching us from the USA or from the UK, or you may not know what it is. Académie Française in France, we call them the immortals. Well, I know it's a strange name because most of them are dying little by little, as it is, because we're just human. But we say immortal because you can't be replaced unless somebody has a free seat. And so when somebody passes away, you are elected. And we call them the immortal because these are the people who are in charge of protecting our language. And they are in charge of writing the dictionary. This is a very serious thing. And when they are welcome as a new academician, the tradition is to have this incredible outfit. Means how many hundreds hours of embroidery?
There's 600 hours of just embroidering, all done by hand.
This is crazy.
So it's and it's a long project, and most of the time it takes us about a year to actually make one of them.
Yeah, but actually there's a new academician every 3 or 4 years, so you have time to provide.
Exactly.
So this is we're going to put a picture of that. This is insane. I think there's no comparison in the world. This is something 600 hours, and you still do it.
Yes, we still do them.
Okay.
We have maybe 4 this year to do.
Oh.
And yes, so it's
so you forecast there's 4 academicians going to die?
No. They're already been nominated.
Oh, hallelujah. I didn't know because you replace an academician only when one passes away. So if you forecast 4, I hope, okay, so you have 4 in progress.
Yes, in progress.
Okay, so at the moment they enter the Académie Française, they have to wear this.
So they get nominated,
Yes.
and once they get nominated, they have to do a speech in front of their peers.
Oh, yeah. Very important.
And this, they can only do it if they have the uniform.
The uniform.
So they cannot speak in the center of La Coupole,
yes.
which is the place where they meet.
gather, yeah.
And they have to wear their
uniform.
It's yes.
Yeah. Well, people say, these Frenchies are bizarre people. You know, you have to wear a uniform with 600 hours on embroidery in order to become an immortal. That is to say, to do your opening speech in Académie Française. Well, I know it's a little bit strange for many people, but this is who we are. We love this kind of tradition, and it's an honor for me to have the people who are crafting still to this day these uniforms who are absolutely iconic in France. I mean, the uniform of Académie Française, the French Academy, is something that is, you have to see this once in your lifetime, and you may see it at their shop because you always have one in progress, to say the least. So, 2014, you buy Stark & Son, and so it means to you that all of a sudden you offer a different price range and maybe you address a different kind of customers. Is that correct?
Yes. So we decided that from this point that we wanted to do something with our own DNA, because Mr. Stark had his own providers and didn't have the full offer that we wanted to offer to clients, and therefore it took us a little bit of time to put all this in place.
A few years,
exactly. And we were very lucky that one of our employees who wanted to go back to Italy.
Because he was Italian?
He was Italian.
There's a few Italians around the De Luca family.
A lot.
Yeah, of course. I can imagine.
And his son used to work as well with us. So therefore, it's as well a family atelier.
Okay.
And
so they decided to go back to Italy. And you said, okay, if you go back to Italy, why don't you work for us, but from Italy?
Exactly.
That's the idea.
And the idea was to bring this concept of bespoke, but with a different approach in terms of price range, because we wanted to approach this product with a little bit less handwork,
yes,
and a bit more affordable.
Okay, so it means that, if I understand well, we can say it's as close as possible to bespoke tailoring, but as far as possible from the price of bespoke tailoring. Did I say it right?
It was perfect. You have the right answer and the right sentence. I mean, like, we wanted to give the experience of bespoke.
Yeah.
People are waiting and want to experience more and more.
Yeah.
From this day. And so these customers, we just propose them to see how we make a bespoke suit, but we don't use all the techniques of Camps de Luca. We use more machines works.
Yes.
It's made in Italy. We use not the same materials, but the main important thing is that they have their own pattern and they have their own experience with myself or with Julien. So we take the measurement, or me or Julien, and after that we work on the fittings, and until the delivery it will be only me or Julien who work on this.
Okay, so let me clarify. This is crazy. Let me clarify so that the people who are not totally inside our world, I want them to really understand what we are saying right now. So, made to measure or custom suiting, they say in the US, is you go to a place, you are measured, you choose your fabric, you choose your option, the types of pockets, of lapels, of blah, 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 and then this garment is sent most of the time in an industrial made-to-measure salon to a factory close to you or far from us. It doesn't matter. It can be in Europe, it can be in Asia, it can be anywhere in the world. And then the suit comes back, and that's it. You can have a little bit of adjustment and how do you say, alteration. But in the case of those gentlemen, it's the same idea. They take your measurement, they send your measurement and the fabric that you choose to a factory, but the big difference, it is their factory. It is totally owned by you. It's an atelier, 30 people working for that. And then those people use your patterns, your designs, your technique, everything which is coming directly from the Camps de Luca bespoke. And the garment comes back for a first fitting. And that's, for me, probably the biggest difference, because in made to measure, and we can understand if you pay $1,000 for a made to measure, you can have 3 or 4 fitting, because economically speaking, it will not make sense. But in your case, you decided to do that, so to add the fitting experience for the customer and to make sure that you can adjust, because I always say to the people, it's easier to be a bespoke tailor than an MTM salon, because a bespoke tailor, he doesn't need to measure you so precisely, because he have 3, 4, 5 fittings, so he can still, on the way to the final suit, refine his measurement. Whereas a MTM has to be right the first time, because they have no other option. But in your case, so I come to you, I said, okay, I want a blue suit, not we're going to say notch lapel, because in the case of De Luca, it's a specific notch lapel. We'll more about this in a moment. And I choose a fabric, and I say, I want this and that. We decide the option, and then you send this to your atelier, and then it comes back for a first fitting. Explain to us.
A real basted fitting, and it's fully lined, and therefore we are able to have this bespoke experience and this bespoke process at a lesser price.
So it means that the process and the experience itself is very close to bespoke. It's basically the same.
The idea was this, yes.
Except that the way it is crafted is slightly different to make the price go lower. Did I say it right?
That's correct.
So you come, the basted, that is to say, we show you a picture of what a basting is. It's like the ruff of the jacket, basically. So you do the basting on me, and then you send it again to Italy, and then it comes back with a second fitting?
A second fitting, most of the time for your first suit.
Yes.
And from there, we do the final adjustments, and then we can send it back to the atelier in Italy, and we finish the garment.
Okay, that's almost bespoke. We can say that among us.
It's come from Camps de Luca. So, we cannot make something half measurement. It was not in our language. We are not born like this. We was heritage from my grandfather and from my father to not make like cheap things and fast things.
Of course.
We want to make it like in the right way, and there is our family name on it.
Yes.
So you don't play with the family name of my grandfather. He's still.
Dad is looking here. He's behind the camera saying, no, you don't mess with the family name. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. So if I understand well, so that people really grab this, it's made in Italy, in your atelier, and I remind you, their name is De Luca. So they have roots there. That's for sure. Your grandfather was born in a village, right, around Rome. It's called, what's the name of the village? Atina. I remember now. And he became, from a small village in Italy, he became the tailors of kings, literally around the world. So you have an enormous heritage to protect. But at the same time, it was your duty as the third generation to make sure that the name will continue, and to make sure that maybe you can make this incredible experience of tailoring available for more people. Because we can say it to each other. Bespoke tailoring is fantastic. Your dad is still doing actual, literal bespoke tailoring, everything made by hand in Paris, but not everybody has the wallet for that. And you offer something which is half the price, something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah, we can say so. Bespoke tailoring is stratospheric, and you are around 3,000?
3,000 euros, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So 3,000 euro for an almost, I don't like to say almost, for a bespoke experience, but the fact is that the suit is not crafted there. It's crafted in Rome, which is your atelier, but for the customer himself, honestly, it's, well, pretty much, I don't want to say it's the same, because I'm an aficionado of bespoke tailoring. So I know the idiosyncrasies and the little differences and the way it is made. But for people who really want to experience something, may I say, it's above made to measure. You're in between, for me, and you are unique in the world for that. In my opinion, you are exactly in the middle of traditional bespoke, which is unfortunately not affordable for a lot of people on earth, and made to measure, which is more affordable, but unfortunately you can have great things, but also really bad thing. And you are somewhere in the middle, and you take the impulse of the something under, which is more affordable, so you can open to more people, but at the same time you have the possibility and all the training and the guarantee and the caution almost of the bespoke atelier, which is your DNA. Did I say it well? Something like that.
It's good because, for customers who want to try bespoke, it's really expensive, and maybe you don't trust the guy, you don't trust the tailor, you don't feel confident about this. It's not maybe the amount of the money that you want to put. It's like, should I try or not? And this experience is like showing what is really taking care of the suit that we are going to make for you. Yeah. So it's going to give kind of like a appetite, just give me a small things to go after that in the future for the bespoke. It's like maybe something to prepare the education of bespoke.
That's right.
But when you come from the bespoke as a family, it was easier for us to create this kind of product, which we knew and we know what the customers are looking for. They are looking for the experience of like something that fitting well on them. When you have a basted suit and you take off the sleeves, every customer's like, it's the first experience. They see this is like, what you're doing.
Understand what's happening. Why are you taking my sleeve off?
Yeah.
Or when you remove the back, also like that. They said the first time, even me, the first time 15 years ago, when I was in a bespoke salon in Paris, he started to remove the, this sound. I said, what is he doing? He's not happy with my suit. He wants to destroy. And when you see the first fitting, you don't understand what's happening. I always say to the people, the first fitting is not for you, it's for the tailor. Yes. This is very difficult to educate people. They want to talk. You don't think it's to this or to that. Shut up. The first fitting is not for you. The first fitting is for the tailor. Then maybe second and third, you can open your mouth. But for the first fitting, it's very important. So it's something, how was it received among your customer? Can we say that some people who were clients at Camps de Luca were interested in this new offer, or is this a totally different clientele is coming?
You do have a bit of cross around. So you do have some Camps de Luca clients who are wanting to do maybe more sports jackets and things they could wear during the weekend. Mm-hmm. But it's really a new clientele that we've discovered. With
younger,
this
I suppose.
Younger and for the moment very Parisian and
very French
and
Parisian.
Yes,
but it doesn't mean that you can't. If you're American or English, or wherever in the world you don't speak French, you can still visit Camps de Luca. Atelier de Luca to have your suit made.
As we do travel for Camps de Luca, sometimes we actually are able to do some fittings overseas for the Atelier de Luca.
Like New York, for example?
Yes, New York and Middle East and we
okay. So if you come in New York and I say, okay, I want Camps de Luca, easy, but I want Atelier de Luca, that is the bespoke with a little bit of machine made in it, you can still provide it?
We do.
Well, that's a good news, because I know a lot of people in New York are very interested in that. Let's speak quickly because a few people may not know who you are. They know probably who you are if they watch Sartorial Talks and they read my books, of course. But let's speak about your style. What is the Atelier de Luca style? I know you're not designers, you're tailors. So, the style you prefer is the one who is fitting the best your customer, I suppose. But still, there's a few idiosyncrasies in your style. Who wants to explain in brief the De Luca style?
The Atelier de Luca style is very close to the Camps de Luca style because it's the same DNA. It's coming from the same people and from the patterns are very similar. There's some slight changes with the structuring, but the details tend to be very similar.
I would say the changes are more in the guts, in the inside that you don't see. Basically, the quality of the fabric, the quality of the canvas, etc., etc. It doesn't mean you have bad quality, but it's different.
Yes.
It's not the same way to work in it. But which is visible is very little differences, right?
Yes, the armhole is very high as well. We work on the tapering. We work on the roping of the sleeve.
Called la cigarette in French. So it's not an advertisement to smoke, but it's the name of the rope. You can show it here. That's the cigarette because it's a rope shoulder.
Yes,
we call the
exactly.
Okay.
The lapel we can also do, even though it was a small debate between my brother and myself about
and dad.
But first it was between us.
Because dad is here. He's behind the camera. He said, "Well, I'm just checking what they are saying about that." So explain the debate because the lapel of Camps de Luca we're going to show you more in detail. It has a notch. This notch is here, and it has a very specific proportion. I think it's all about the proportion. And you are very famous in the world for this notch because your grandfather, with Joseph Camps, they created this.
Yes.
And it's some kind of it's a matter of angle, right? Exactly. And degrees. Explain to us quickly.
So it's the 90 degrees angles here.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more closed than the most jackets you will see.
Yes.
Normally they're a little bit more open. And so these are small details, but that was one of the questions we had with Charles, was to know if we could offer this kind of service for the Atelier de Luca.
Yeah.
And in the end, we decided that we should do it as well because it was an iconic thing of the house, And why should we stop ourselves doing it as well for the Atelier de Luca offer?
I agree. But you had to have the agreement of Dad.
For the little story, Hugo, nobody know, Julien was against, and I fought.
You didn't want?
No, Julien was he's the traditional, in the family. He went to UK and England to study and all this, and he was like, Charles, we cannot do that.
So he is the conservative one.
More than me.
You don't touch
I'm
the
the
heritage.
Italian in the family, believe me.
You were against.
Yes.
But no, you agree it was a good idea?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it was just basically, I needed the process of taking it in, of accepting that it was something that we had to do, and which is logical because we're recognized, I can say, around the world for this kind of details.
Of course.
And if we didn't do it, it just
made
didn't.
No sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
If
had
I
no
may,
logic.
you made a comparison when we had a couple of glasses of wine during the lunch, and you said, well, if I may explain Atelier de Luca with Camps de Luca, which is the same company but two different offers, I would say it's different of a S-Class Mercedes and a Maybach. I don't know if you say Maybach or Maybach. I think it's Maybach. So either it's anywhere on the very top of the market in terms of quality, but it's still a S-Class Mercedes, which is very high. And of course, Camps de Luca may be a Maybach. That is to say something totally like only a few people can have in the world. Is that right, this comparison?
I think if you like cars, this is the best solutions to find. I mean, like if you like watches, you can compare Rolex with Tudor. I mean, like it's the sister house, it's the same brand.
That's right.
But basically, like they're making very good product, but different price and the style is similar.
Yes. And this is why you achieved. So we're going to show a few pictures of your production, and I will invite people to say, okay, in a nutshell, let me re-clarify for you, because it's very important to understand. We are talking here of made to measure, crafted in their own atelier in Italy with several fittings, which is quite unheard of in made to measure, with a turnaround time of, let's say, 3 months altogether?
Yeah, 3 months if you're in Paris, in France, yes.
3 weeks for the first basting fitting, and then another 3-4 weeks for the first fitting, and then...
We'll see. It's always the physical that say the rules of the fittings. If we need to make more fittings because we see different things for customers.
I love to hear that.
And this is like, because you need to have a good product at the end, because like one customer is not happy, is going to not bring you customers.
That's for sure.
One customer that is happy, maybe bring you customers. So
that's music to my ear. Because your answer is that how many fittings? Is as many as we need. So you meant normally it's like 2 fittings, 3 fittings, around 3 fittings to
3
make
fittings,
sure.
yeah.
But if you need 4, you do 4. It doesn't matter to you, right? You're not going to overprice it because you have 4 fittings or 5 fittings.
It's a process of generations. I mean, like you see, our grandfather started, and my father, and now something like. You don't want to make only one suit to one guy. You want to make 10 suits to the guy. And if the guy is 20 years and we're going to follow him all his life because he's happy with one of suit, we make the job. And this is what we're doing.
Wow, this is really music to my eyes. So, to my ears, sorry. Saying that you do as many fittings as necessary is music to my ears. Because that's, in my opinion, the difference that you have with so many people. Is that you have your own atelier, you have your own patterns, you have a legacy to protect. You are trained, both of you, as tailors, so you know how to cut, you know how to design a pattern. You have Dad, which is one of the most famous tailors on earth. So your proposal for me, I don't like this kind of marketing term, but your proposal of value, as they say in America, is tremendous for me, because people can really have the best of the two worlds. That is to say, really almost touch the sky, with the bespoke tailoring, but at a fee that is affordable. Let's say, in a nutshell, you can have 2 Atelier de Luca for the price of 1 Camps de Luca, basically. Okay? So, well, just to clarify, on my right, Julien is wearing a Camps de Luca bespoke suit, and on my left, Charles is wearing an Atelier de Luca suit. And you can see the notch. It's very comparable. Okay, me, I have a very trained eye. I can immediately say which is which. But still, I can tell you that in terms of fitting, in terms of flair, in terms of charisma, it's very close. Specifically, I love the shoulder. This is a very specific shoulder, even for made to measure. I know that your dad is, he told me a story just before. He said, please don't forget to say, as an homage to your grandmother, that you name Atelier de Luca as a wink to your grandmother who passed a long time ago.
Yes,
so tell us the story.
The initials are ADL.
Atelier de Luca.
And that's actually the name of our grandmother, Adele.
Adele. So, you say Adele? There's a singer in America, very famous, yes. Adele? Okay, yeah. We don't know her in France too much, but everybody loves her. You know her?
Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So we don't listen to the same radio stations, probably, but okay.
And she's English, by the way.
She's English?
Yes.
Oh, I thought she was American. Oh, she's English. So, so Atelier de Luca, Adele, and it's just an homage to your grandmother. Well, gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here. Well, okay, we know each other quite well. I wrote on the family in my book. We are following their job since more than a decade now. But I'm very happy to see that, we live in a world these days where a lot of people in the new generation, they say, come on, give me a break with your tailoring. It's over, all that stuff. You can maybe go to Italy a little bit. There's a few factories are doing handmade, but, well, actually they're more expensive than you in made to measure, but that's another story. And, well, it's very refreshing for me to see the new generation. How old are you, Charles?
41.
41?
42.
42. And your sister is working with you?
Yes.
She's younger?
Yes.
Okay, Clara. So, I don't know how he did this, but Marc, my friend Marc, he managed to gather all his kids under the same roof.
He's the father. He's the godfather, He's Italian, to forget this,
He's an Italian father, yeah. It's so true what you just say. It's all about family. So, Atelier de Luca, ladies and gentlemen, you have to look at that very specifically, because it's, for many of you, I guess, will be maybe your way to touch the tailoring sky quicker than you imagine, because we have people following this channel who said, Mr. Jacome, my dream is to have a Camps de Luca or a Chiffonelli or a Smalto or Henderson and Shepard or a Caraceni or whatever, and I have to save 10 years. Well, with Atelier de Luca, the good news is you have to save only 5. And I'm just kidding. But no, that's the truth, actually. But anyway, I'm so happy that these two gentlemen are protecting the legacy of their father and grandfather and make the name de Luca shine very high in the sky of bespoke tailoring and tailoring in general. So thank you for your visit. I'm very happy to have you. I really love what you do. And I will support you until my last breath, because you and your father and your family are doing something which is a little bit larger than dressing up people. I think you participate to something broader that we desperately need in this time and age, which is adding a little bit of beauty to this world, which is becoming violent and vulgar. And I think people like you are participating to protect something which is maybe as important as breathing for human being, is adding a little bit of beauty, of flair, and enjoying beauty in life and feeling at your best. So thank you for what you are doing, both of you. And I give you an appointment to the next episode of Sartorial Talks. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.